listening to The Final Score with Stevie Fly.
What's up, guys? The Final Score back again tonight. I think Warren, is that the first time you saw that intro video right there? Because Warren's face is like, look at that.
Man, that is gold. It's gold. I just want to say, like, for my band that is like so, we fight about AI every day in discussions, of course, and mostly it's like negative towards AI, right? Like we hired a graphic artist for our single that we just released because I did an AI image and I sent it to the band and I was like, look, this is gonna be perfect for this album artwork and it's gonna be free. And my band was like, you asshole, you piece of shit. They were like, you cannot do that as an artist. You want people to respect you as an art. I said, you're right. Okay. All right. And we paid somebody and we got some art done. But
well, unfortunately, I don't have that kind of a budget like you guys do, so I just had to do AI. Sorry, guys. Sorry, you may hate me, but
they're okay with it. I think it's funny. I was laughing my head off. I was like, it's Stevie.
I'm gonna have to add a hockey one to that. So anyway, and you know what I need? This is what I need, Warren. I need a Taming Sari song for that intro. You guys talk about it. We have called you guys the unofficial house band of On the Fly and the Final Score for a couple years now. And let's go ahead and get the intros out before we get over because we're gonna ramble on, I'm sure, if I don't. But let's get the intros in. If you didn't know, this is like the 7th or 8th time he's been on the show. So he's set the record so far. With us tonight, the lead singer for my favorite Canadian rock band. straight off the release date today of their new single, Ghost of a Good Time. If you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. Mr. Warren Meredith from Taming Sari. What's up, dude?
Hey, just enjoying release day. Super excited to talk some hockey because, of course, it's over now and I have to wait months. Well, not too long till we get to the draft and free agency. So that'll give me a little something. But it'll be good to talk hockey today. Yeah, go check out the song. It's on Spotify. It's called Ghost of a Good Time. It's everywhere. So go check it out.
And down here at the bottom, Canes Fanatic. And if you guys remember last time we had us three on here was right after the Olympics, and man, what a show that was. These guys, I didn't have to say anything. I just sat there. But with us again tonight is Mr. John Timberlake. What's up, dude?
What's up?
You see he's got his Canes jersey on. We have to tell a little story here before we get going. So this is what was it? 2 Thursdays ago, John? 2 weeks ago?
Yep, 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So I get a text or a Facebook Messenger message early that Thursday morning. And it's from a lady that a kid that I coach her grandson for a couple of years. And she said, do you know anybody that wants to work the event in Raleigh tonight? And I'm like, are you talking about the hockey match? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I got an idea that I think somebody might. So I get in touch with John, and he's like, heck yeah. So they send me the number to call this place. John ends up working security for the pre-show and then the game.
I was supposed to work security for the pre-show and the outdoor watch party. What wound up happening is I got there and the guy said, look, if you don't want to be stuck outside in this heat, you need to go to that other line that's inside. Yes, thank you, Troy. It was eating me up.
What did I say?
Huh?
I say hockey match.
You said hockey match.
Well,
we don't play tennis.
So what? You know what I meant.
But
hockey game.
Anyway, so this guy tells me, he's like, if you don't want to be stuck outside of the watch party and you want to be inside, you need to go to that line over there. So I was like, all right. So I snuck over there, and next thing I know, I'm watching in the priority lounge in a $6,000 seat, game 2 of the Stanley Cups.
That is freaking awesome. That is freaking awesome. I was so happy for it. And got to see a good one. Got to see a Canes win in overtime.
Oh, yeah, great game.
All right, I got to
the McNabb injury was right in front of me. It was great.
Brutal.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I was telling Stevie, as soon as McNabb hit the ice, I don't know how big NFL is up there, but if you remember Joe Theismann, when his leg snapped, Lawrence Taylor started immediately doing that.
Yeah.
And as soon as that puck made contact with McNabb, Ehlers started waving staff over immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they know how tough McNabb is. And
that was brutal.
I wouldn't doubt his nose was caved right in.
So, absolutely.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all. And what a wild start to that series.
Yeah, it was great. Great.
It was great. So the guy got his nose caved in. It was great. Yeah.
It was. I mean, hey, that's hockey.
That is hockey. That is hockey.
In the words of John Forsland, that's hockey, baby.
Yeah.
He was back like what, the next game? Or
yeah, next game.
Again, that's hockey players. That's what they say. Hockey players.
And I'm driving down the road and I'm going, I'm listening to NHL with Gordo, and they're up there like, yeah, McNabb might come back. And I'm like, I just saw that injury. There's no way that kid plays. And then there he is, game 3, sitting there with a full face mask.
Is that Justin Timberlake? Huge fan. Yeah, looks far cry from Justin Timberlake there.
If I had Justin's Timberlake's money, I would not be sitting up here with Stevie tonight.
Find out who your friends are, that's for sure. So before we get into the hockey, though, we're going to talk a little. We're going to talk to Warren a little bit because a lot's going on since the last time Warren was on the show with his band. Of course, we just talked about "Ghost of a Good Time" came out today. So you guys go out, Spotify, wherever you stream your music at, check it out. And check out Warren, Taming Sari on Facebook, social media, all the social medias. Check him out. Make sure you do. Like I said, the unofficial house band of On the Fly and the Final Score. And we're looking for that riff, for that opening riff from Taming Sari. So what has been going on, dude? There's a lot been going on with Taming Sari since the last time we talked to you. So fill us in.
Well, I mean, the guys did a great job when we reformed and made this latest lineup in 2024. And then the bass player had his baby, and the drummer he bought a house and got married. So there was kind of a pause. And when there's a little pause, you're like, who knows what's going to happen? But we came back with guns a-blazing, and we went into a battle of the bands and, beat out 50 bands and won $3,000. And I was just saying to Stevie, that's really big for an independent band. That's really important that you're able to do something like that, because that gave the band a budget for the song. And a lot of people don't know that or don't think about it. But I mean, if you want your music to be heard, you might want to have a marketing plan, just like any business. You might want to have some PR and all that kind of good stuff. So it was awesome that we were able to do that and set ourselves up. And then this weekend, we're going to go compete. I entered us into a little radio competition in Muskoka, Ontario, which is a beautiful camping region, lakes and hunting, whatever. It's really beautiful. And so it's called Tall Pines Festival. So I wanted to get into it because it's 5 hours away. So doing a nice festival far away from the home base is great. And you get a chance to open for the Tea Party, who I'm a big fan of, and also Paul Langlois, who's from a big Canadian band called the Tragically Hip. So I thought, why not? So I entered us in, and of course they accepted us. But then all the Ottawa bands saw that we got accepted, and the competition was still open to go into, and legitimately like 5 or 6 Ottawa bands entered it immediately. And I saw them all get accepted in the next day. And I was like, Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it's a, it's follow the leader, or it's it's a compliment when people are doing that. They're saying, oh, that's a good idea. So the radio station, in their email, when they told us we advanced to the next round, they said, you guys started some kind of a movement, because we had all these Ottawa bands coming through trying to come to Muskoka. And I said, sorry. But so anyways, then our fans had to call in and vote. That's great, except that I asked 25 people to vote one day, and I gave them the wrong phone number. I told them it was 8888 for the last 8 numbers, and the station is 89.1. And I just saw in the corner of my eye, I was like, oh, it's not 88, it's 8989. So I had messaged all 25 people back and just was like, I'm an idiot. I don't know who has that number, but they got 25 text messages that said
they are pissed.
They've got to be. They've got to be confused at least, right? Like, what the hell happened? Anyways, we've advanced to the finals. Somehow, despite my dumbassery, we've advanced to the final 4. So we're going to drive 5 hours. We're going to play 20 minutes, which is a very short set. But because there's 4 bands, they're going to jam us all in, and we're all just going to get up there, and then they're going to pick a winner. So it's fun. It's a trip. It's a 1 in 4 shot to get to be in a festival. That's a good festival, and lots of stuff like that. We have another song that we have planned for release in September, and we're working with other people for that. So lots on the table. But again, it's like we're in our own bubble. We're always just trying to burst out of it. Let me ask you guys, because you guys are rock music fans. Have you guys, in your world, heard anything at all about Angine de Poitrine?
No,
I have not.
Okay, so all over the internet, if you ever watch Rick Beato on YouTube or whatever like that, or any of those music review channels, you'll see them talking about it. They're a band from Quebec that's blown up because they're from Canada, from a little town, and it's just 2 people, but we don't know who they are because they're dressed in full costume, polka dots. You guys will have to Google them, Angine de Poitrine, and they're using microtonal.
I gotta do this now.
Yeah, they're only playing microtonal. So it's like the notes in between the notes that they're playing.
What's the name of it again, Warren?
ANGINE space DE space POITRINE.
Okay,
And you'll see them with polka dots.
Wow.
What?
And
did you get the polka dots on your screen when you Googled them?
Yeah. It's
like my whole screen lit up with polka dot.
That's because I'm telling you, they're blowing up. So they're a world phenomenon right now. And they're just a couple dudes that are legitimately 2 hours away from where I am right now. Well, we don't know if they're dudes or chicks. I don't know what they are, to be honest with you, because they never reveal their face. But what they did was they took the internet by storm, and now they've got everything booked. So you never know. You just keep playing with what you're doing, and maybe you get lucky, or maybe you change the game like these guys did. I would recommend listening to them after and being like,
what? I just listened to about 5 seconds of one song, and I'm like, okay,
you're probably going to say you'll be confused. At first, you're going to be confused.
Yes, that's exactly the feeling I had right then.
First, you're going to go I don't know what I'm listening to. But by the second time you listen, you're going to go, this is genius.
You know what I thought you were going to tell me? I thought you were going to tell me this was totally AI.
Oh, no, it's the opposite. That's why people fell in love with it.
Hey, now, AI can come up with some songs.
Yeah.
Well, I fight it. We're all fighting it. But these guys are anti-AI. So AI would vomit if it made this. It would be what? Because like I said, it's the notes in between the notes. And they're not singing. They're just making these crazy, weird, they pretend they're aliens.
Oh, wow.
The whole gimmick is they're aliens, and they're here showing us their take on music.
Yeah, about the first 10 seconds of this one song, I was like, what? I'm like you. I was confused. So I'll have to listen more to it. But
it's like you said, the polka dot showed up on Google for you. That's because they went mega viral.
Wow.
So
yeah, it was kind of crazy. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, anything can happen. Yeah, I'm just going to let the dog out of the room. He's freaking out.
So while he's letting the dog out, who let the dogs out? Gonna go ahead and tell everybody thank you for we've got a few people in here right now. You guys get your comments in. Justin Butts and Troy. Sorry, Troy, I got that wrong with you. Hockey match. I'm sorry, tennis, but
there is soccer matches right now.
Yeah, oh yeah, World Cup's going on over in the United States.
Messi scored a hat trick. I don't know if you guys know that, but Messi.
Oh wow!
He scored his first hat trick ever. And
as much as Messi's never had a hat trick.
Not in the World Cup.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he's had one before, but I know for sure not in the World Cup. And the goalie was the best part. The goalie's reactions after the second and third goal was like, no, like very dramatic
meltdown.
Yeah, totally.
So
goalies never melt down. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, never.
John played goalie in like what was the league you were in, like your college?
Yeah, it was an intramural league.
Intramural league, yeah. So John, that's what John's saying, that I never had a meltdown. I'm sure he never had a meltdown. A lot of people out there could probably tell you different. But anyway, so let's get right
Hopefully
in.
They're not listening.
So the 2026 NHL playoffs. This is one thing that me and John talked about for months. John always said, going into that, I don't know if Carolina's one piece away, and I think Warren even said it when we were on that on the show for after the Olympics. Carolina's one piece away, and me and John talked, almost daily about it. John, I don't know if we got that piece to get to over the hump, but yeah, John. JM have a meltdown? Never.
Really? Hey, look at that hoodie though. Look at that hoodie.
Yeah, hoodie in the background.
We knew that day when we spoke that Carolina was damn close.
Yeah,
we both knew because it's been 8 years, right? It's been frustrating. Like Rod didn't just get this team to win right away. They kept losing in the Eastern Conference Final. So every year they kept acquiring another piece. And what I thought was really key this year is like what was so important was how healthy you are.
Oh yeah,
as a team.
We were very fortunate on that front.
And that's not the only deciding factor. Every team has injuries. Carolina had injuries that they did not divulge. So I know that they had injuries. I'm not saying that they didn't. But overall team health can really help you go far. And when you look at the depth scoring down the stats sheet, from Jackson Blake, Taylor Hall, Stankoven, who absolutely dominated my Ottawa Senators. And then my favorite quote of the whole NHL playoffs is, "Daddy, why did you punch that guy in the face?" And you have no idea. That is my daughter. When I saw Stahl with that interview, I was like, "Oh my God, that is my child." When that was said, I just burst out laughing because that's all Olympics. Like that was all Jordan Stahl trying to give him a little payback for beating him up at the Olympics.
Then you had as Stahl's leaving, she goes, "Questions that still need to be answered, guys." That's when I lost it.
Yeah.
I was like, she's not letting him off with this thing. Like,
man, oh man.
But how do you set up a first round any better than Ottawa, Carolina?
I don't know. I know that there's a lot of Ottawa fans who believe in their honest hearts. I'm not one of them, but there are Ottawa fans who believe on their hearts that they gave Carolina their best challenge of the playoffs before Vegas. And I would disagree.
Second best.
I would disagree with that.
Montreal gave us
all
we could handle.
That Montreal has a lot of speed and offensive power, and Carolina really got to show how they can shut you down. But
that wasn't the runaway that everybody thought it was going to be. Yeah, it was a gentleman's sweep 4-1, but every one of those games were knockdown, drag out fights.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Sorry, 1 second again.
So talking about that, and we'll get with Warren on it in a minute. The surprise to me, and I'm just an average fan, surprised me of the whole playoffs. Vegas dismantling Colorado the way they did. I know Colorado was kind of banged up, but did you see that coming?
No, and I don't think any hockey fan can tell you they saw that coming. Maybe, and me and you had this discussion probably 2 days prior to this series starting. I walked in there and I said, Stevie, everybody's talking about, can we just skip the conference finals and go straight to the Stanley Cup because it's going to be Carolina and Colorado and everybody knows it. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that nobody saw an avenue that Vegas could beat Colorado, because I think everybody did see that they had that avenue that it could possibly happen, but nobody saw them dismantling the way they did. Absolutely not.
That Colorado team had to be hurt pretty bad, in my opinion, because to me, the cream of the crop of the NHL is Carolina in the East and Colorado in the West. And then you've got teams competing to be like those teams. Minnesota, who stacked their team with every player they could possibly buy, couldn't compete with Colorado. So I'm pretty sure they were injured by the time though they played. Maybe I'm giving them an excuse. Like McKinnon had a bad year in terms of
well, that couldn't have happened to a better guy. But
he did not have a good year in terms of Olympics or Stanley Cup. But it was good to see Vegas. Vegas got so excited and they had so much momentum going into the finals that I honestly wondered if they would be too much for Carolina to handle. And when the series began, I thought, like, I'm a huge Mark Stone fan. Of course, he was an Ottawa Senator, and he was poached by Vegas. Vegas poached a whole bunch of great players away. That's what they did. They choose whoever they wanted from every team, basically. And good for them. I mean, I guess Gary Bettman really wanted them to win. So I really wanted Carolina to win this series because I know Gary Bettman in the NHL wants Vegas to win Stanley Cups.
Well, they're the golden child. They have been since the moment they stepped in the league.
Yes, no franchise expansion franchise has ever been treated like the Vegas Golden Knights.
I mean, look, you got Utah. Yeah, they're not an expansion franchise, but look at how they're treating them. The Kraken.
Yeah, they don't get the same treatment.
Not even close.
No, nobody has. And I get it. They really, really need it to succeed there. Like, if it succeeds in Vegas, it can succeed in so many markets in the surrounding area. So I get it, and all the money there, and the sports betting, on and on and on. I get it. They really need it to work, but they also really needed it to work in Carolina. I remember when the Hartford Whalers moved to Carolina.
Yeah,
and it was a big deal, and Gary Bettman needed them to succeed. To grow hockey. Well, guess what? They've grown hockey. You guys have grown hockey big time.
Oh, definitely.
In the States, like, big time. Wow. I thought, first of all, Rod the Bod has brought the joy back to winning. And
did you see him lift the cup shirtless?
Yes, and the hugging.
It's like holy crap.
If that's pure joy and there's no cocaine involved, it's just incredibly impressive.
But as a Hurricane fan, when the team is not doing the way they should, you get that exact opposite reaction. Like he is just as hard as he is celebrating. Like he'll and he doesn't sugarcoat it. He tells you exactly how it is.
He had to, this was a big year for him. This was a big year for him as a head coach, getting it done. Like, he's been given the leash, and they honestly believed in him. The GM there believed in him, and he did a fantastic job adding the right pieces and not giving up the wrong pieces. Because when he acquired Ellers, I didn't know if that was going to be a great pick, but it really was. If you look at where he fits into the depth scoring in the regular season and then in the playoffs, he's very good, very consistent, and scored some big goals. Stankoven, everyone thought, oh, he's the castaway. He wasn't what we wanted. He's not Rantanen. Holy crap, that kid can play.
We won that trade.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, that kid can play. And Jackson Blake, wow, you guys are stacked. So, and your cap space. So you guys are not done. That's the other thing.
Oh, no, we got 28 and cap just sitting there.
You guys got lots of cap space. So who knows who's going to be joining, but someone's going to want to join because look at how everyone wants to join the Florida Panthers.
Right.
The same effect will now be in Carolina. You guys are going to have 3-4 people who are big names who are going to want to fit themselves in now.
But see, here's the difference. When you had a Florida who had to have their top name guys take pay cuts to keep the gang together, Carolina doesn't. They've got 28 million sitting there to go say, all right, who else wants to join this party?
Well, another thing you guys got too for the Hurricanes, the farm system, the next step down.
Yeah,
they played in the championship game.
They're in the Calder Cup Finals.
So I mean, you got the future right there, and you got cap space, and you got a lot of these guys under contract right now. So,
and I think what a lot of people don't realize is Skylar Brindamore plays for that team.
Yeah.
What is really cool is I know Warren knows this, but any player that was called up to play in the NHL that year on that team gets their name on that cup. Skylar was called up to play a couple games at the end of the year.
Wow.
So now you're going to have Rod and Skylar's name on the cup for the same team.
You know, and Rod becomes what, the fourth player coach to lead to win a Stanley Cup with as a player and a coach with the same organization. So only the fourth time. And guys, I did a podcast earlier in the week with a guy that's a big time journalist around North Carolina, personal friend with Rod Brindamore. But he was talking about the players do these polls at the end of the year every year. It's like the coaches polls. And there's like 5% that say they wouldn't want to play for Brindamore because exactly what John talked about. When the going gets tough, he's tough on you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's old school. He's tough. But the other 95% would go through a brick wall for Brindamore. And that is what's made a difference here at Carolina, because these guys will go to war for Brindamore. I mean,
all you have to do is watch the post-game interviews.
Yes.
And it explains everything about how they feel about Rod.
Taylor Hall showed up in Carolina, and he was not in shape. Well, he was in shape, but not in Brindamore shape. And he got whipped hard. And he could have easily said, I'm getting out of here. But he knew what he was capable of. That Hart Trophy season is probably Taylor Hall's saving grace, because it proved to him how good he could be if things go right for him. And look how great he was in the playoffs. He was so good in the playoffs.
And he was there all year at that level.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. He can be that guy. And obviously being with Brindamore made him be able to be that player at this point in his career.
And that's the thing. Brindamore, with some of these guys that probably wouldn't have had that success somewhere else, Brindamore knows how to bring it out of these guys. I mean, I should, if I could, I don't know if I can dig it out from over there. I went, what was it, it was after the 2006 season. I went, and they were honoring Brindamore that night. They were giving out pucks for, I think it's 1,000 point or something like that. I got one of those pucks over there. I need to drag it out.
How much you want for that, dog?
But you know, I mean, you can tell, just like John said, you can tell hearing these guys talk about it. They would go through, when you got players, whether it's, I don't care if it's football, basketball, baseball, hockey, that be willing to go through a wall for their coach. That right there is something you don't see all the time. And Brendan Moore's got that definitely there.
Yeah, he was a great player. He was a champion, and it was great.
You're talking about a player, Warren. I'll tell you something I realized today that I had forgotten. I'm wondering if you realize it. In his playing career, what teams did he play for?
I'm pretty sure he played for Philly and Carolina.
Who's the third one?
And what's that? Sorry?
Who's the third one?
Is it Montreal? No.
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
I forgot he was a Blue.
Yeah, I would never
forget. It was a very short period of time, but I had completely forgot it. And they said it today, and I was like, oh, yeah.
There you go.
There he is. The man.
Hey, there he
is.
Is Jordan Staal going to play more? Like, what's his contract status? I don't know what Jordan's
gut feeling, he retires.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
He still has a year left on a contract.
Yeah.
So I don't know that he plays that year out.
Yeah, I'm not sure he does either because he seemed pretty complete. In his interviews, he seemed very pleased. I've also never seen an NHL team thank God publicly or Jesus as much as the Carolina Hurricanes. And whether you believe in God or not, I think it takes guts to publicly do that. And
this day and time.
Well, that starts with Slavo. You know, I saw a quote, and I'm glad you brought this up because I do believe in God, and I'm a Christian, and it really spoke to me. You know, the first time my son and I ever got Jacob Slavin's autograph, on the bottom right-hand corner, it said AGTG. And I'm like, what has that got to do with anything? That's not his name. That's not a nickname. You know, it's just a bunch of letters. So I go home. First thing I do is I Google. He puts it at the bottom of every one of his signatures, and it stands for all glory to God. He was also quoted, and this may have been at the Olympics, and they asked him about a medal, and he said, you know, and I think this was actually done in like a Hurricanes interview that they were showing during the game, like during an intermission. And he said, you know, I want to win the Stanley Cup. I want to win a gold medal. I want to be in the Hall of Fame. Like, those things I want. But I led my teammate, Jalen Chatfield, to Christ. And if I never win anything, it was a successful career. So, I mean, that's him in a nutshell.
Yeah, he's the guy every team would want. There's no doubt about it.
He holds weekly devotional groups, prayer groups. Like, I mean, it's a big testament to him and what as much of the culture that he's changed in that way. So
interesting.
What? How cool was it though? After Hurricanes win, to see Eric Staal come out there and with his brother. That was so awesome because I remember Eric back in the first one, such a stalwart for Carolina back then. And then you see his brother. You know what? You know, I paid attention. See his brother get traded from Pittsburgh to Carolina. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool there. So we need to get a Stanley Cup for him too, and to finally get it. And then, you know, a lot of people were talking about, did he really deserve the Conn Smythe trophy? I'm like, what?
Absolutely.
I was like, he obviously, honestly, I don't know how you wouldn't give that to him.
Well, and I get their argument, but their argument is that it's not a Finals MVP trophy; it's a playoff MVP trophy. But I mean, Warren, you know this. Let's be real; it's a Finals MVP trophy.
He stole it. He stole it in the finals. And he played fantastic in the whole playoffs. He was the leader throughout the playoffs. Unquestionably, his team followed him in from the first punch of the playoffs. He was the guy. And in the finals, he didn't just score a couple of goals. He didn't just score 1 or 2 or 3 goals. He scored like 5 games in a row, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, he's scoring these. I think I heard a stat today that every one of his goals was scored from 11 feet and in. So you've got this 37-year-old guy who's going to the
dirty
in football terms, trenches. It
Yep.
would be like an offensive lineman just grinding it out in there, moving bodies and getting himself in front of the net to get hit by a puck.
Yep.
And he gets 6 goals doing just that. Yeah, he undoubtedly deserved that.
Yeah.
The only other one I could have seen is Logan Stanko.
And it's hard to give it to him because he was outscored. Like Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what people don't understand about Stankoven is he was outscored in the finals, absolutely. But anybody that watched those finals, he probably had more opportunities than anybody to score. They just didn't fall for him, and that's how it went all year with him. He just caught fire at the right time when Aho Jarvis, they weren't doing anything.
Yeah,
they're just kind of hanging out up there.
It's true. They got really good later on. And
yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, that's the thing about depth is Carolina is stacked with these guys.
I've been itching to talk about our depth.
Yeah. It's
I told Stevie the other day about our depth and how our depth was strangely similar to 2006 at a certain position.
Well, I'll tell you this, talking about Stahl, maybe it was just me noticing it more, but after game 4, I noticed in game 5, Vegas made a concerted effort to pound him. I mean, really pound him because they were going after him left and right game 5.
And that took away from them. That took away from them doing that to an Aho and a Svechnikov, which is why in game 4, 5, and 6 you saw them come alive because now all of a sudden I've got breathing room. They're paying attention to somebody else.
Yeah. It was fantastic. Again, from the Canadian perspective, we love seeing Mark Stone. We love seeing Jordan Stahl, Brenda Moore. We like seeing that these guys are Canadians that are close. Like, look at how Jarvis and these guys are close with Slavin. Like, they had to go to the Olympics and hate each other. And then they come back and they win a Stanley Cup together. Yep. Or they have to play against each other in the Stanley Cup. A lot of these guys are like brothers. A lot of them. It doesn't even matter what country they're from anymore. Sweden or whatever. A lot of these guys are like family in the hockey world. Just the way their paths cross. And we're seeing this new movement come through with the young players. Like, is Rod an old school coach? Is he a new school coach? I don't know. This was probably his deadline. I don't think he had another. They were going to give him more than this next season. So I'm glad for him.
There's a rumor out there that he wasn't even going to get the next season.
It's quite possible.
And that come from one of his interviews. I forgot what they asked him, but they asked him a certain question. He's like, well, I want to be here forever. And then he said something to the effect of that was in question for a few months or something. It's something to that effect. So there's a whole rumor now that he wasn't going to get this next season.
I don't think you got to worry about it now.
I got to say, well, but even before, to me, that would have been absolutely stupid.
I agree.
But
you got a guy that can bring in. I mean, you got to think about now. Raleigh has become a hockey town. I mean,
no doubt about it.
Listen to the guy, like that journalist was talking about when I was on the other podcast. I was like, you go to all these other hockey arenas, hockey matches again. I said it too.
Come on, man. Come on.
You don't see this atmosphere. You don't see this atmosphere outside of another hockey arena like you do in Carolina. Carolina's got the college football tailgating atmosphere going on. Some of the players were talking about coming to the arena 3 or 4 hours before puck drops, and there's thousands of people in the parking lot. Some of the players would go out to the tailgating area and talk to the fans, but it's an atmosphere like no other place in the NHL right now, and you got a great coach. Raleigh is an up and coming area for people living. The crime rate's not bad. It's a good place. Another thing you got to think about: what are these players' wives? What do they think about living in Raleigh? A lot of the players' wives love
it
living in Raleigh. So you've got something there.
Perfect. I won't lie. A lot of them don't want to go to Edmonton. Listen, folks, it's a true story, and it's been going on for since Wayne Gretzky's era, which is a long time ago.
Think about if you didn't have Draisaitl and McDavid there to even lure some people there.
I think they'll be gone in a couple of years, and I think it's gonna have to. They're gonna have to strike gold again in the draft, or bottom out for a while, because there's no other way. Free agency's never worked for them. Chris Pronger embarrassed them 15 years ago. A whole bunch of players over the years.
It's funny because I was listening. I was listening to Chris Pronger this morning on Gordon Stellick and they were talking about the complete debacle of Edmonton. So it was
it's frustrating for Canadian markets because it feels like a lot of Canadian markets can get close, but we cannot get those finishing pieces to finish the puzzle. For an example, would be a realistic one would be Winnipeg. So you could see Winnipeg for a few seasons there, even though Winnipeg is probably a horrible place to live. And I'm Canadian. Listen, I'm going to get a lot of grief for saying that. I'm sure it's not that bad. But compared for an NHL player with millions of dollars to spend money, it's probably that bad.
Well, I'm a firm believer that if Detroit can get people to go there.
There you go. True enough. And Larkin, there you go. Larkin saying he wants out of Detroit made all the Ottawa fans go, ha, you see, it's not Brady who wants out. It's Larkin who wants out. And why wouldn't you, when your GM screws you over again and again and again? 10 years that guy has not seen the playoffs.
But he's the chosen one of Detroit. Michigan native.
It's sad to see it's not for me as an Ottawa fan. I need Detroit to lose. They're the team that we're constantly fighting to try and get into the playoffs right now.
In my opinion, y'all are going to be, and I've heard it all over any podcast, any radio show, that Ottawa's there. When they talk about the handful of teams from each conference that's going to be there next year or the next couple of years, Ottawa's in that conversation.
For the first time in probably a long, long, long time, the last 3 years, Ottawa has had a good owner. Previous to that, we have always had an owner with money issues. Very, very, I'll go back in time to when I was a kid. There was a time when our captain, Daniel Alfredson, many years ago, had to pay players salaries out of his salary.
Oh, wow.
That's how bad it was. So some people ask, why is he in the Hall of Fame? Why does Ottawa love Daniel Alfredson so much? The guy legit was just saved the team in multiple ways. So we've been poor and down and out. We've been bankrupt. So for the last 4 years, we've had a fantastic owner. He says he wants to build our team like the Montreal Canadiens, which means he wants to spend money. That's fantastic as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, we have a good team. We have a good foundation. There are questions on Brady Tkachuk as a leader that have to be answered. There's questions about the defense. Our defense is nothing near Carolina's. I'll put it that way. We aren't there yet. We have Sanderson. So Sanderson would fit he could fit in on the top pairing with Slavin, or on the second pairing in Carolina. But besides that, I think Zub is the only guy Carolina would be interested in. Everyone else, I think Carolina would take a pass on. So Ottawa really has to work hard on figuring out their defensive core a little bit more and finding scoring depth, because they don't have that. Carolina has this fantastic scoring depth.
But the
Ottawa-
difference in Ottawa past and Ottawa now is Ottawa past was going, okay, we suck. We have to blow this up. We have to, what are we going to do? And Ottawa now is going, okay, yeah, what are we going to do? But we need a little bit of tweak here, a little bit of tweak here. Like you're there.
Yeah, we
It's
can
just a
see it
matter
happen.
of tweaking what you have.
Yeah, he is doing it, and it's more fun for us to watch as fans than it was with the previous GM who lost us our first round pick, and then we got it back, and now everyone's talking about including it in trades. It's not tradable. So that's the thing we Ottawa fans keep saying. We wish we could trade you the 32nd round pick, but Bettman made it untradeable. So we're picking 32nd no matter what. That's our punishment for the Dadonov trade, where we withheld his 10-team no trade list from Vegas, allegedly. Stupid. I don't know why you would do that. Again, to Vegas of all teams, Bettman was going to come after you.
Right.
So that guy's not seen any sniff of work since being fired from Ottawa. Dorian's not gotten a sniff as a scout or anything, I don't think, because of that. So yeah,
and in my opinion, that's not fair to him, because if that was in fact the case, come on, you're telling me he's the only guy that's responsible for that?
He had the worst owner in the league at the time. So there were signs that were put up around the city here that said Melnick out, and the man legitimately had a failing liver, and the people, and like the people here didn't care. They were just like, he is a horrible owner, and they wanted him gone. Now, to be fair, he did get a transplant from somebody. I think it was a kidney. He got a transplant from somebody, and it did prolong his life like 10 years. So we always thank the Ottawa area for that. And he did do some good things in the community, but he really talked a lot of shit in the media and did things a GM shouldn't do, like just made statements the GM shouldn't make. And embarrassed.
So he was the John Tortorella of GMs.
Yeah. And, he also pretended to have bigger pockets than he had. Like in the beginning, he said, oh yeah, I've got pockets that are deep. And then quickly it was not so. And after the 2017 run where we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and everything went to shit real bad. So the plan was to draft college U.S. players. That was the plan. It became popular just at that time. To do so, look at the college U.S. players over the Canadian Junior Hockey League, because you have guys like Tkachuk and Werenski and all these guys who are coming up in that program and at that time. So we built pretty well off that. We took Norris. He's gone to Buffalo now. But we also did Tkachuk, his friend. We did Sanderson. And it kind of did build a good foundation. Now we'll see if they can keep working on it. We'll see. They seem to have a good foundation. Will Carolina be able to be a juggernaut like Florida and repeat? Or is Florida going to return and be healthy? And are they going to be the scary team in the East again? Like the East is going to be so, like Boston too is not going to get worse.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you bring up Florida, because in my opinion, Ottawa is Carolina 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Ottawa goes up against Carolina this year. Didn't go in their favor, but you weren't out of any game.
No, the overtime games were very close. The overtime games.
So then look at Carolina. What was it, 2 years ago? Against Florida, or maybe it was last year. But I mean, you look at that series, and they're right there. Every game, they're right there in the finals, in the Eastern Conference Finals, but they get swept.
Yeah.
So that's why I say in Ottawa is right there. They may not be this perennial powerhouse yet, but look how Carolina come up, got that experience in the playoffs. I mean, we did win around our first year, but then we got absolutely smacked. So we got our lessons in. All right, now let's build for next year. And when we get to this point, We're going to go a little further, learn a little bit more, and keep going. And that was very much the route Brendan Moore took. And I think it paid off for him big time.
Yeah, and like your GM, like I don't think he has a whole lot of. Is he an analytics guy?
No.
No, like because
Tulski doesn't do analytics.
He doesn't have like a big hockey background. But his moves were bang on. If you look at the moves that he made, the waiver claim on Bussy may be the biggest one.
Oh, there it is.
Got to talk about here.
There it is.
Talk about if there's a lot of chapters in this story of the Carolina Hurricanes this season, and one of those chapters you just brought his name up. What about Bussy? I mean, how big of a pickup and how much is Florida kicking themselves in the ass for letting him go?
112 AHL games. It's at 27.
You're not even able to be considered a rookie at 27.
Like it's not a lot of experience, and yet he looked so calm. He looked so good in the net, like easy. Like he made it look no problem. Anderson, I also give a lot of credit to. Winning the 13 games, I give him credit. Yes, eventually he was out of the net, but it took a lot longer than people were giving him credit for. If you were a troll or if you were an outside critic, you would have poked at Anderson. And I thought he was quite good. And when Bussy came in, he just shut everything down. But I told Stevie after I think the game where Carolina came back and tied the series up, I said I said at this point, like I think they figured out Vegas.
Yeah,
they figured them out defensively, right? I said defensively they figured it. It took them a few games because Vegas was going all out. They went all out. But in the end, they figured them out defensively, and it was noticeable. And then Carolina knew it. I think Rod told them in the locker room, like, that's it. You have them. You just have to finish doing what you're doing. And there was no weak link. Again, they were the cream of the crop of the East. And I really would love to see them go next year against Colorado if it could happen. I think that would be a crazy series if both teams were at their peak. I like them a lot more than the Florida Panthers.
Well,
I don't know.
We don't have a Brad Marchand, so that helps us.
Oh, Marshy. Oh, Marchand. Man, oh, man.
You look at their record throughout the playoffs. They go 16-3. Best record in the playoffs. But I mean, I think it's just ironic, though. The Knicks in the NBA playoffs go 16-3. The Hurricanes go 16-3. But
that's walking. That's walking through the playoffs.
Yes.
That does not happen, I don't think, that often.
I think 16-3 is the best record since I forgot what, I think since 87, 86.
That's what I'm saying. That's not common. That's walking through.
Yeah.
And they didn't just walk through Ottawa. They walked through Philly and they walked through Montreal. So, I mean, Montreal tried, but what? They only won one game, right?
Yeah, but Philly was nowhere near the caliber team that Ottawa was.
No,
it wasn't.
No, and I wouldn't think so. They got really hot towards the end of the season. They had some young players get on a run. They got healthy. They've been getting steady goaltending from Vladar, which they were not expecting. I really think Philly thought they were going to.
I don't think many people were expecting that.
Yeah, he played fantastic all year for them, kept them in a lot of games. But yeah, their team structure, it didn't seem like they had anything planned or built there to.
It was backyard ice rink hockey.
Yeah. And Montreal is just again, they draft players that other teams are afraid to draft. So I mean, a lot of teams would never have drafted Caulfield. And a lot of teams would never draft their defenseman. I can't think of his name, but on the back end, short guy.
I know who you're talking about.
He's fantastic. And these guys lead the team in scoring. They're both like 5'0". And so a lot of teams would just say, no thanks. They're not big enough. They're just going to get crushed. Montreal's smart. They'll be a better team next year as well.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
They found Dobish or Dobish, however.
I gotta say they got Dobish back there in net. I mean, but let's go back to the Bussy conversation if we can for a second.
Yes, please.
So in the game, what was it? Game 3.
Game 3 was when Vegas won 5-4.
Yeah, at the end of Game 3, I walked into my work and Steve was standing there and we were talking about the game and he said, "So what do you think about Bussy coming in?" And I looked at him and I told him, I said, "It feels oddly familiar to 2006." I said, I'll go on record right now. Bussy comes in, shuts the door, wins the Stanley Cup, and becomes the next Cam Ward. Maybe not Cam Ward caliber,
maybe,
but close. Yeah. Maybe it surpasses Cam.
You don't know yet.
But at the very, very, very bottom floor, to me, he's going to be dang close with a high ceiling, depending on where he puts himself.
Yep.
He's by far quickly not only come in and played great, but just the connection he's had with the fans already. It's unbelievable. And he's a great pro.
Yeah.
Like the first thing he did, he wins the Stanley Cup. Then he just has a shutout in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup against a team who's been a part of one of the most wild goal-scoring finals we've ever seen. And they ask him the question, "How are you feeling right now?" And he says, "I can't explain how I'm feeling, but Freddie deserves all the credit. He got us here. He drove this train." Like, what a testament to his character and what he stands for as a human being, much less that you just went out there and shut Vegas completely down. And then his brother, I don't know if anybody knows this, but his brother's autistic. And the butterflies on his helmet are for his brother and to raise awareness for autism. So that's also, I mean, he's a stand-up guy who makes a Hurricanes fan want to love him, and then he has to play to back it up. So it's just a great story.
Yeah. You think about third start in the playoffs, he shuts out Vegas and wins the Stanley Cup. I mean,
and sat for what, 14 games, 13 games?
Yeah.
Just sitting on the shelf, and you come out that hot.
He hadn't played in a month.
The game he comes into is 4-0. 4-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals, and you shut the door the rest of the way into the most fluky goal in overtime I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, we lost the game, but I mean, which, don't get me wrong, the very next game, Game 4, we come out and get an empty netter that is almost just as remarkable. So,
that goal off the boards was after the double overtime, after going through all of it, for it to end that way was so so sad.
Here's Warren's message to me after that game. One of the craziest games in the Stanley Cup Finals ever. To come back from 4-0, insane. Then the goal Vegas scores a double overtime, bonkers. Bounce off the boards, ricochet off the goalie's pads. Yeah. And then but how about the
hold on. You forgot. Not only did it ricochet off the skate of Bussy, before that it hits the stick of Mark Nook to go into Bussy. With Mark Nook completely turned in the other direction, doesn't even see the puck coming.
But wanted 2 empty net goals in games after that came after that. I know Carolina had one for sure.
We had one in the final, and one in game.
There was one in a game before
5.
that because you banked it.
Yeah, we had one in game We might have had 3. It might have been 4, 5, and 6. We had an empty netter.
Because the one
You're talking about is Game 4, where Nikolai Ehlers just hums it off
cleared
the board, and like the game before, the puck just has this magnet in it, and it decides to come off the boards and just slide right into the net.
Did you guys see when what's his name, Carter Hart, when he was crying at the end of the game? Like he was bawling his eyes out. So there's there's people on Team Hart and Team Howden, and there's people who just really did not want those two to win. And that's because they were involved with the sex scandal with Team Canada at the World Juniors in 2018. And Carter Hart was banished and put on trial, and Howden went to his rescue and testified about how Carter Hart's a great guy. And then Howden went and petitioned to the NHL and, to Vegas, like, let's get this guy back in. He's the only player from the 5 who has regained his NHL career. Everyone else from that group has been banished to Switzerland or wherever else, but Carter Hart got another chance. So I don't know if that's why, if that added to the tears or just what, but I know from my fan board that I'm a part of, there's a lot of people who simply did not want Vegas to win because those guys were on the team.
Wait, did you hear the chant? No means no.
That's right. Exactly. You see, people know that, and so that's what I mean about Vegas, though. They do whatever they want. They take the forbidden fruits.
Well, there's one thing about Carolina, and it's funny because I read the other day, they were like, how does Raleigh, of all places, have the loudest house in the NHL? And somebody put up there, said, you don't understand. It's UNC, Duke, and NC State fans finally agreeing on one thing. And I laughed, but the Canes, and you could see it in the interviews. I mean, I don't think there was a player there that did not talk about how much the Caniacs mean to them, how much they feed off of it when they're home, how they could hear it even in Vegas. And, I mean, the Carolina fans they might not be vicious as far as like a Philly fan who will just jump you and punch you in the nose for no reason, but they'll call you on your shit. And that's exactly what they did to them. And as I'm sitting there working game 2, we're fresh off the Montreal series, and I hear these 2 guys coming down, and they're talking about the chants. And one guy looks at the other and he goes, yeah, we're probably the assholes of the league right now for the Olay chant.
No, we loved it as Ottawa fans. We loved it on our fan boards. We were like, they're giving Montreal a taste of their own medicine. F them. Like, but again, Stevie knows I don't really like the Habs. Well, I like them, but I don't like them. It's a weird.
He's got to like them for one reason, but
they're 2 hours away from me, and they're not my team. And and then Toronto I despise, but as a young kid before Ottawa had a franchise, I was a Leafs fan. So it's
wow. How do you go from being a childhood Leafs fan to despising them?
Well, I was like maybe 5 or 6, and I was a Leafs fan, and then the Sens came into existence in 92, 93, and my uncle started bringing me to games. So they brought me to all these games in the first few seasons, and I went to their hockey camps. I went to the Senator hockey camps because I was a goalie. So I met their players, and I just fell in that way. And then all of a sudden I was a Sens fan. So I was only a Leafs fan for maybe a couple of years, like when I was very, very young. And then swapped over and then watched my team get beat up by the Leafs 4 times in the playoffs.
Wow. I mean, I get the whole moving team things. I've done that before too, but I just don't know how. I don't get the despise part.
Oh, okay. Well, because Toronto and Ottawa, they played each other like 4 times in the playoffs, and every time Toronto beat us, and they called it the Battle of Ontario. And during these years, Toronto had players like Ty Domi and big bullies, Their team was all bullies, and they never made it past the second round. Every time they beat Ottawa, Philly would then quickly beat them out in the second round. It happened like over and over and over again. It was very annoying. But Toronto just had lessons to teach that Ottawa team. That Ottawa team was smartly built. It was built with a lot of Europeans, which at that time wasn't popular yet, and a lot of bargain players that people hadn't heard of yet. And in the regular season, they did fantastic. But when it came to the playoffs, there were guys on Toronto who taught them, like Travis Green, our current coach, taught them, no, that's not how you play in the playoffs. It's not going to work that way. We're going to throw your face down. And it's sad because even when we lost in 2007 to the Ducks, a big part of losing that series was Chris Pronger just absolutely mashing his stick into the back of whoever was standing near his goalie and just destroying our players with his body. Like physically, I don't know if we've seen anyone as aggressive as him or Scott Stevens since they've left. Like there's good hits now. There's good players that are mean. I don't think we've seen anyone like Scott Stevens or Chris Pronger. Those guys were so brutal on the back end with their sticks.
But with as much player safety as there is today, I don't think you'll ever see that again.
I don't think so either.
I don't think the league will allow it.
It was wild. It was wild how physical those games were. And
but that was great hockey.
It was fantastic. But I mean, it's true. If you go back and you watch hockey from the 30s, it's like almost unrecognizable.
Good gosh.
You know, like the game is almost unrecognizable, but a lot of the rules are the same. They're on a sheet of ice. They're using sticks and skates. But every 10 years, the game changes and changes and changes. And Gretzky said, you know, when he came into the league, it was just for him perfect timing. Because he says now, if he came into the league, he doesn't know what he would be. Because at that time, being creative was everything. He was able to go behind the net, try out different things. Now, if you try different things, you get smoked. You're not even going to get into the lineup. I mean, Brendamore does not want you to go out there and do whatever the hell you want. He's telling you to go out there and play a very strict system, play it this way and not any other way. And so it's become more like football. And I'm sure
there is some creativity in there, though.
For sure. I mean, that's where you get good lines. Like you mix the lines and you get chemistry. And that, I think, is the fun. And then you can get good quarterbacks. Like as a Sens fan, maybe one of our favorite times was when we had Erik Karlsson in his prime. And people said he was like a top 3 player. He was. Until Matt Cook sliced his ankle, that guy could skate around anybody. And he was embarrassing the Penguins in that series when Cook sliced his ankle. So I feel bad for Karlsson that now he's a shadow of that player. But man, he was good. And so that can happen. And when you get a creative guy like that who can outskate everybody, Sanderson right now for Ottawa is very much kind of like that, where he's faster than everyone. So he can kind of set up very interesting plays. Stützle, but at the same time, these guys can be frustrating. Stützle really frustrates Senators fans because
he frustrated me watching that series for y'all, because one game he was like could do no wrong. Then the next game, you didn't even hear his name on the score sheet whatsoever.
I know. And sometimes he tries to do everything by himself, and then he seems to learn that doesn't work. And then it's funny because like 6 games before the end of the regular season, I watched Ottawa beat Carolina at the Sens game, right? And I watched Stützle do one of his highlight reel goals that will always be one of his highlight reel goals, where he comes in and he just dekes the pants off the goalie, right?
Oh yeah, that was unreal.
He didn't get to do nothing like that in the playoffs, though. That wasn't happening in the playoffs. That extra room he had to be creative was gone. So he has to learn how to play in these situations where the game becomes so tight that there is no room to be going by yourself, trying to go through the whole entire team. It doesn't work, not in the playoffs, very, very rarely. The way Stahl did it, scoring 5 games in a row, was by including a teammate in every goal, I think. I don't think any of them are unassisted. I think those were all tips, like you said, or
I think he did have one.
Okay, but
one
still,
where it was just
hard work.
and the one goal he had, I think it may have been his last goal he scored, where Ehlers makes the unbelievable find, 360, just slings it at the net, and there's Stahl.
So he cried when they asked him about Winnipeg, and again, I think it shows you about the caliber of people that Carolina was acquiring and going after. They weren't just going after good players. I think Carolina, honest to goodness, is a lot of good people. And not that a lot of the NHLers aren't good people, but I really think that locker room has a lot of solid stand-up brotherhood going on there. Like you said, there's prayer groups. There's a lot of veterans. Guys like Jankowski probably fit right in.
They're not going to go out and just get a flashy player because he's a flashy player. He has to fit in the Brendan Moore system.
Yeah, that's what I think. Brendan Moore's not going to just bring somebody in there just for the heck of it.
Take the Rantanen issue. Take the Rantanen issue. Yeah, he didn't want to be there. Bye.
Yeah, that's right.
Kotkaniemi didn't sniff a game.
No,
he got to skate around and hold the cup, but he did not sniff a game.
That's probably why we got to skate around hold the cup, because he didn't sniff a game.
Yeah, and Kotkaniemi is the example of a guy who does not fit in with the roster. That there's issues with his with the way he works off the ice and on the ice, because he's not responding to the coaching, because they really wanted him to work. I mean, when you steal a player from another team like they stole Kotkaniemi, that means you really believe in him. If you send an offer sheet, you really believe in him and you really want them to work out, because you're paying a lot.
Yeah.
The fact that he embarrassed them, again, to me, it shows if you don't have the work ethic, if you don't have the quality of character of like Jalen Chatfield or any of these guys who worked their butt off to get into that lineup and hold their place, you're just not, it's not going to go. So again, I think that they built a great team that way.
I was hoping she was going to show up tonight because she was here last time.
I'm so glad she's here.
Yes, because she called it way back then that Carolina was getting ready to make a Stanley Cup run. I'll give Christy all the credit in the world. You were right, and look at that. She is exactly right. It's the Karen C5. Rob wants players that completely buy in. I mean, just like we just talked about. Rod's not going to just go out and get like John said, a flashy player that doesn't fit in the system just because he's a flashy player. He wants somebody that fits in that system. But
to Christie's point, there wasn't one player that was interviewed out there that didn't talk about the culture. That didn't say, Rod pushes us to be this or Rod pushes us to be that, and then with the culture he's built in Carolina, it was just in every interview.
Culture is evident. It's very evident from an outside. I am not a Carolina First fan whatsoever. That team's culture is super evident. Like from a distance, it's easy to see. I mean, Rod, yes, everyone is following Rod's. Thanks, Mom. Mom's commenting.
I did,
but
both moms up here tonight.
I would tell you this: my mom is not going to be up here. She has no idea how to work a computer, and it's not going to happen. So this is the closest we're going to get to
we'll get Uncle Ray a microphone, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah, and Uncle Ray don't know how to work one.
So you're going to get players who are going to say, "I don't want to go to Carolina because I don't want to join that church group." Now, do you want those players? I don't know.
No.
Because those players are probably guys like Evander Kane, who have gambling addictions, or
Darnell Nurse.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what a joke! Request a trade. They'd love to trade you.
I got to clip that. Oh my gosh, what a joke!
Well, if people would give them a bag of pucks. I mean, that's the problem. There's nothing like required.
Yeah, nobody.
No one wants you because
I don't care what your no trade team list looks like, you're not getting out. That no team is going to take that attitude, that work ethic with that contract. It's not happening.
It's not $9 million. There's no value there whatsoever for $9 million. That's
no.
Which player was it, guys? And I cannot think of it. I heard it the other night. That, they've got that Players Tribune that they write in, and I can't remember which one it was. It was a few years back. He was drafted by Carolina, by Rod, and he said, after seeing this guy and hearing what he did as a player here, I'm going to empty this bucket of, this wanted bucket until we win a Stanley Cup here, and I'm a part of it.
Sebastian Aho.
Yeah, that's it.
He wrote, and it wasn't in a Tribune. It was a open letter to Hurricanes fans. And it was basically explaining that, because everybody was like, Aho's not going to want to stay if we can't get over the hump, Aho's not going to want to be here. And that was the consensus because of the caliber player Aho is. The teams that would die for Aho.
Yeah, he's world class.
It's like a McDavid. Look at a McDavid.
Yeah.
McDavid's going, okay, y'all better make some moves to get me over this hump to have a chance to sniff that Stanley Cup, or I'm out of here.
Yeah, he should already be gone. He should have already.
And that was the consensus in Carolina, that's how Aho was feeling. Yeah, we knew he loved Carolina, wanted to be there, but we also knew, and we wanted him to have the chance for a cup. Yeah, we felt like we were there, and then he basically, that offseason, he wrote a letter, an open letter, and posted it. I think he actually got up with one of the reporters and released it. But it was basically saying, like Stevie said, I'm not leaving Carolina until the cup is brought here. And he lived up to his word.
And
you had enough guys in that room saying that. You had enough guys in that room that seriously went home at the end of the day and said, I'm going to win the Stanley Cup with this team. I believe in those guys. We're going to win.
You look at Keandre Miller. All right. Last year with the Rangers.
Oh.
Yeah, he was Keandre Miller. You knew who he was. He was a household name. But if you watched his games, he didn't stick out. You couldn't go, oh, there's Keandre Miller making a good play. Now, when he comes to Carolina, all of a sudden look at that. Keandre Miller breaking up another pass with that long reach. You didn't hear that out of New York. Rod gets the best out of his players.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Another thing we need to talk about, too, and Warren probably, seeing it on TV, I don't know how much you can really see. But, John, I know you see it, and, you saw it up close and personal. But seeing, like on the internet, on TV and stuff like this, the difference between the 2006 and the 2026 championship runs, this team is more established here. And these people have bought into Carolina Hurricane. And they bought into hockey more. Because, even back then, people were still like, okay, this isn't ACC basketball. This isn't the NFL. This isn't baseball. This is hockey. We're not really a hockey town. That's not the case anymore. You saw, not just Raleigh-Durham area that bought into the Hurricanes. Wilmington, Eastern North Carolina, Greenville, there were watch parties galore, and all of them selling out.
La Rancherita had watch parties for every finals game in Greenville.
Yeah,
it's just that the way the team. If you go to Raleigh and you walk around in a Canes jersey or a Canes shirt, Canes hat, somebody's gonna say something to you.
Tell them about what happened to you today.
I'll get to that in a second. But somebody, and this is before we win the cup. you see somebody with Canes gear on, and you're instantly like, all right, I want to go talk to that person. Like, that's just how it is in Raleigh. That's how it is with the Hurricanes. I was at the food show. Me and Crystal Stevie were at the food show, and we're walking through, and all of a sudden I turned to her. I said, I'll be right back. She said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to talk to that guy right there. And when she looked at him, she knew exactly why I was going to talk to him, because he had a Carolina Hurricanes tote that he was pulling around with it. We got to talking about it. He was from Western North Carolina. Great guy. But, I mean, it's just that kind of recognition in basically all of Carolina. You know, you talk about the message board you're a part of. I'm part of a couple, and just hearing stories from people going to the parade Saturday of one guy's driving from New York. I mean, like you don't get that. You don't get people driving from 5 and 6 states up to come. And his reasoning was, and Stevie's heard me say this 1,000 times over the last 2-3 weeks, I've waited 20 years. I was 16 years old when we won the Cup. I couldn't go to these things. I couldn't be involved like I want to. This is my time. And that was what he said. I think he said he was 15 when they won the Cup. But that he was not missing this parade. So, I mean, it's definitely established there. But to Stevie's point this morning, in Greenville, which is about probably an hour and 40 minutes from Raleigh, I pull into the Starbucks this morning to get me a coffee, and I hear somebody yelling. Believe it or not, you're not going to believe me when I say this, Warren. I was actually listening to Tea and Honey by Taming Sari, and I cut you down, and I was like, all right, who's yelling at me? Like, I'm already pissed off. Stevie knows I'm not a morning person. I'm like, who the heck is yelling at me this morning, this early in the morning? It's like 7 o'clock. So I turn you down and listen out the window. All of a sudden I hear, "Go Canes!" And it's the guy behind me looking at my stuff, and he's yelling out the window. And I text Stevie. I said, just had a guy yell at me, "Go Canes!" in Greenville. It's going to be a good day.
I think that you hit on it. Like, so Gary Bettman is thrilled. When I was a kid, he's always been around. He's like Dracula. He doesn't go away. He's always here. He is this little creepy man. You know he does not know anything about hockey, but he wants to grow the game, and he has. He wanted it to go
absolutely.
He wanted it to go into American markets. He wanted it to get onto American television. He said, we're going to get the product to the point where people can't deny it. And it's there. And now what's going to happen is you hit on the fact that North Carolina has all these college campuses, all these university campuses that are driving the sports. Well, now NCAA is where a lot of the best players are going to go. Like, not half, but a lot of. The best guy who won goalie of the year in the Ontario Hockey League here in Ottawa, he played for the Ottawa 67s. He's going to Penn State. He played one season here. He won goalie of the year, and he's gone right to Penn State. And this is the norm now. So now a lot of these kids want to go get their full scholarships. Screw playing in the queue. They want to get a full degree because the hockey is not guaranteed. They're getting smarter. They figured out, after hockey, I might need a business degree. I might
need to do something after hockey.
Need something if the hockey doesn't work. So a lot of them are going the NCAA route, and now I think it's just going to explode the sport even more because the quality games.
Only 10% of players picked the third round or later ever sniffed the NHL. 10%.
Yeah.
And you talk about getting the products out. The Stanley Cup Series is the highest watched Stanley Cup Series ever. They average 2.2 million viewers each game. So that right there, not just in North Carolina, but I think everywhere, people are starting to watch more hockey.
And I think the Olympics had a lot to do with
that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
The last time we were all three talking, we were talking about what a great show the Olympics was. What great hockey that was.
It's going to continue.
And now you got the Hurricanes and the Golden Knights that put on just as good a show. So you've got these two high stage events to show to the public of this is our product.
Yeah, it's very, very good. I mean, if you look at what Florida's done, now they've got, and what Tampa did before them, everything almost kind of went according to Gary's plans.
Yeah.
This was a no lose for him. Whoever won this series was going to grow the game in some capacity. Yes, he wanted Vegas to win because that's his little baby, but beyond that, I think it was a win-win no matter who won this series for the game, because they were such good teams. Like, the product was so good.
Did you hear him announce us as Stanley Cup champions after the game?
I was watching him, yeah.
Did you hear his first line?
What did he say?
I want to congratulate the Golden Knights
on
making the finals 3 times in their first 9 years. Before he ever acknowledges that Carolina's the Stanley Cup champions. So that just goes to prove how much of a baby Vegas really is to him.
Yeah.
He loves them. He wants them so badly to be like a dynasty. He wants them to be like a Detroit dynasty where they win like
the Eiserman dynasty. Yep. That's
3-4 cups. That's what he wants them to win in within 10 years. And if they can put them in a row, he'd be even more thrilled, because that's how the Canadians got their legacy. The way the Montreal Canadiens got their eternal legacy was they just won cup after cup after cup after cup. And yes, there was only 6 or 10 or 12 or 15 teams or whatever, but that's how they built their legacy. And that's how they built their fan base, where their fans to this day don't care. They are wild. Like, they're wild fans. That's all I could say. They're fun. They're fun. Like, the chanting, the singing, they do it every game. Like, I'm glad that Carolina did it back to them, because Montreal fans do that shit every game.
Well, it's funny because I thought Vegas was just a bunch of fans that were in Vegas for that week, if that makes sense. Like,
on vacation.
I'm in Vegas this week, so I'm going to pull for the Knights and go to the game because I'm in Vegas.
And you brought up something earlier, John. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say that completely changed for me game 2. There's this guy. This guy watched the game, and I would walk out, and like my job during intermissions was to walk out and to let everybody know that if they went out this door, they weren't getting back in the arena. This guy would come squat down by the metal detectors. We had moved from the door because, everybody's in the building at this point, so we moved the metal detectors. He'd squat down and sit there and rock the whole intermission. This guy has on his jersey. He has on freaking tights. His whole face is painted. And he's like, I flew here for this shit. And I'm going, oh my God, Vegas actually has real fans.
A real fan.
Like, I did not think they had those.
But you brought up something earlier, John, that, we were talking about how more established the Hurricanes are now. But John, Warren doesn't know about this as much. When you got NC State fans, you got Duke fans, Carolina fans, App State, ECU, all of these colleges that a lot of them are bitter rivals, hate each other, and they all come together and are all cheering one team. Carolina did that, man. That's like the miracle worker there.
They're trying to do it here as well. See, here we are on the border. I told you I'm living right on the river. So if I cross the river, I change provinces. It's like changing states, right? I'm right on the border. So I go back and forth, and I'm on the French border. So if I cross over on this side, for example, I can't turn red on a lot of red lights on the Quebec side. And there's certain things like that I have to be aware of, where the rules just change once I cross the bridge.
So you cross that bridge and instantly go into Canadian country.
Well, it's 2 Canadian countries, but you're changing provinces, like changing states.
No, I'm talking about the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
You cross that
definitely.
river and
You
it's
change. You
like,
cross the
bam.
river. You're going in Montreal territory, even though you're very close to Ottawa. And so the new owner has been reaching out to this region. It's called Gatineau. And he's trying. He bought the junior team here. He's going to try very hard to build fans and steal fans over here away from Montreal because of proximity. And we have a couple of universities here that hate each other. So I get it that universities hate each other. We do not have the same thing that you guys have there. Like, we only know about how cool and how amazing American university is because of movies like Road Trip and and things like this. These are the things that would illuminate Canadians to how amazing life could be in America, like the American dream, you know.
You're basing our colleges off Road Trip. That is great.
I just got to tell you, the way most of the world bases any of their opinion off America
Yes,
is
I've
the
heard
movies.
that too.
Is the movies. It's like, as ridiculous as that is, it's like also a lot of cultures, they learn English by watching American movies. They flat out don't even, that's how they learn it. So it's kind of cool, you know.
So Christy saying she heard from several Canes fans that went to Vegas that said their fans are quiet and they pump noise in. They were so surprised. Christy,
I've actually heard that a lot.
If I'm not mistaken, you were at the Lenovo Center at the watch party there when the Hurricanes clinched. How was that atmosphere there? Let's hear. I'd like to hear her thoughts on that if she was there.
Well, while she's commenting, you know, that's been one of the really big things. Even watching the pregame, they were talking about it, and then Biz was talking about it the other day about how Vegas pumps in crowd noise. Like, it's a known thing around there that they pump in crowd noise.
See, that's like Peyton Manning and the Colts when they were in their prime with those. They said they used to pipe crowd noise in the dome where they played all the time. So yeah,
and the sad part is they're piping it in when we're still louder.
Yeah, I know. That's what,
I do have to tell you
do it right.
I do have to tell you a story about my son, Warren.
Okay.
And Christy, I want you to pay attention, and anybody else listening that's been in the Lenovo Center. So I take my son to a game, and I don't know if you saw on my Facebook the picture I posted of me and my girlfriend up there, but it was that game. We take my son, we're sitting up in the stands, and we score. So we're sitting, I look over in front of me, and that's the rich people section.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on the very bottom row with the railing of the third level, and we score. My son goes nuts. Of course, the crowd's yelling, and this lady in front of me turns and looks at my kid and goes,
"Oh my God!
Oh, I lost it. Completely lost it." So then we score again. We stand up, we're cheering again. And this lady turns around and goes, "Y'all are just obnoxious." And it kind of took me back for a second. And I breathed for a second, and I said, "Lady, do you realize we're in what they call the loudest house in the NHL? They call it that for a reason." And she just wanted to argue with me. So I go down and walk out of where I'm at. And I don't go down to her section, but I go to the police officer standing outside. And I'm like, "Look, just so you know what's going on, because I'm pretty sure this Karen down here is going to call you eventually because she's getting on my nerves and I'm going to say something." And he just kind of looks at me, and I was like, "We're cheering. She's pissed off because we're loud." And he said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, so just so you know what's going on, I just want to let you know." He's like, "Okay, don't worry about it. Go have fun." So we walk back to our seats, and we're sitting there. It wasn't 15 minutes later, this Karen had called the police in her section over to them. They start looking up at us. Well, about that time, home dude that I just told what was going on walks down there and starts basically telling her that's bull crap. She got so pissed But what made it all worthwhile is when we won the game, we stood up and started, I mean, just cheering, having a good time. And I'll admit it, I was being an ass at that point because you've been an ass to me the whole game.
Was she a Carolina fan?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, it gets even better. So there's like 6 of them sitting in this thing, and nobody said anything to us except her. When that final buzzer went off, her daughter's boyfriend stands up, looks at us, and starts cheering with us. I don't know whether he was, and it wasn't sarcastic, like he was being for real. I don't know whether he was just completely tore up or what, but
he's embarrassed.
Sure, he got in trouble.
Yeah,
he's embarrassed. Yeah.
Christy talking about it was insane. We went to games 1 and game 5, and the watch party in Lenovo for games 3 and game 6. It's been a long week. I can imagine, but I'm sure it was well worth it for you.
Where Christy, you got one more. You got to be there Saturday.
So I think
pizza.
That's ridiculous that they would try and tell, especially a kid. Why would you try and tell a kid at a playoff game when you score a goal?
Oh no, this was a regular season game.
Still stupid.
It was just a regular season. Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous.
I don't know why you would do that. Now, one time I was at a game and there was a Karen standing maybe 6 or 7 seats in front of me, and they annoyed me because they continuously yelled skate. And this frustrated me because that's all the players are doing. I don't know why you're telling them to do what they're doing. Maybe tell them to skate faster, but don't tell them to skate. That's all they're doing, lady. So I get, like, sometimes someone can be obnoxious with their cheers. I'm actually one of those people who probably is obnoxious. But that person, what are they? It's not the opera.
Yes. That was evident, Christy. Evident. Yeah. And she didn't even care about the game. She was on her phone half the time anyway.
Yeah.
So
she was probably just going to be going with the rest of them and didn't even want to be there.
Well, she was one of those fans that show up to the arena, sit in the club level just for her status. She doesn't give 2 craps about the game. She's just there to look good in front of all her friends.
It's wild. Yeah, I don't know. What I'll also say is, like, hockey at the minor level, like when you're a kid, like, John, did you play hockey as a kid?
I played hockey in college.
Okay, so as a kid, what you figure out is there's war going on with your parents. The politics in hockey, I don't know if it's the same in football. I don't know. But in hockey, there's wild politics at play with kids and their parents.
It's all based on that last name.
What's that, sorry?
It's always based on that last name.
Yeah, right? And who you know and that type of thing. And
I've had a lot of friends who played hockey since they could skate. And they've all said the exact same thing.
Yes, it's very, very political and hard to break into that shell. Like the year that I broke in to get to play competitive was such I was like 12 years old, but I'd been rejected maybe 4 years in a row prior, right? I went to goalie camp and that feeling of finally getting into a team was so great. And then you get in there and you realize all these people are jerks. They're really I didn't have as much fun as I had on my house league team. Right. Because a lot of these guys took it in a way that they were AAA. We weren't AAA. We were a good, you're playing rep hockey, but you're not going to the NHL. And I think some of them felt they were a little cooler than they were. But again, in a small town, right? Hockey in Canada is it's everything. They announced this year that the CBC, which is like the same as the BBC in England. So it's what some people here would call our socialist television network, because it's a national broadcast, right? That gets funded by the government. So a lot of people don't like it now because they're saying like they promote one government side more than another point of view. So they come under a lot of scrutiny. But my whole childhood was based off tuning into the CBC to watch hockey, and to watch Hockey Night in Canada. Like that was a huge thing, my whole childhood. And now they're done. It's not going to.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. I saw something about Hockey Night's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. and now it's just the rights are up for bids from whoever, and
That's
it's
crazy.
it used to be different. The
I
culture
vote
is
Don Cherry buys it.
Don's done. I mean, he stood up for veterans, and that was it. He said something that was taken as a racist statement, and that was it for him.
Well, I hate the guy. Absolutely.
And a lot of
hate
people
him.
do. A lot of people were 1,000% done with Don. His co-host was done with Don, and the CBC was done with him because he said controversial things. So
Well, he's the whole reason the Hurricanes have the brand bunch of jerks.
Bunch of jerks, yeah.
He was the one that said because we did the storm surge, we were a bunch of jerks. We said, okay, we can put it on every t-shirt we got.
he made a comment. His final comment was something along the lines of those people need to buy the poppies or need to wear the poppies to show their respect. So I think he was making like a broad term that immigrants needed to buy the poppy. Here in Canada, we buy the poppy, we wear it on November 11th for Remembrance Day for veterans. So it's like, I don't know what you guys have, a Veterans Day in the States or something like that. I think
Yeah.
it's different, right? But here we wear this poppy from Flanders Fields to symbolize that, and out of respect for the fallen soldiers. So Don's a big guy. He on that military, has always been on Hockey Night in Canada. He always brought Canadian soldiers onto his cast, always brought them in, said, we're strong, get out there, support the military. Well, he always said things that were a little bit controversial, as you know, but that one day he said those people, I believe he made a very broad term, and then, attacked them for not wearing the poppy. So he still has fans who say, he's right, people should wear the poppy. And of course, he's got people who say you can't talk like that anymore on television, and you got to be more inclusive. That's how we built the game, by being inclusive. We didn't build it by telling people they don't belong. For example, Hockey Night in Canada has a Punjabi cast. At least they did for many years. Now they don't. Obviously, it's not in existence anymore, but they had different types of cultural broadcasts for hockey. So I know that it was just kind of the changing times. He had Rock'em Sock'em videos where he would, on VHS tape when I was a kid, that we really wanted to collect because it was the best hits. It was like a YouTube video before YouTube videos.
Yeah, that was just like the NFL, what was it, best of hits or
crunch day, you call it crunch time or something like
crunch times, that was it.
It'd be him and his dog and some music. And, oh, bam, oh, that's a big hit. Oh, my God. It is nonsense, right? And then on the Hockey Night in Canada, for years, what you would have is this juxtaposition of his co-host, Ron McLean, who would kind of be pussyfooting around everything. And he's very, I don't know what you call it, safe. And Don was the exact opposite. So Don would be saying everything that would be making Ron sweat. And in the end, after like a 25-year friendship, Ron turned on his friend. So there's very sad videos of like Don on YouTube saying like, that man's not welcome in my house for dinner. Like my wife won't let him. Like, because like they've shared Christmases together. He considered him family. So just the fact that he felt turned on, But hockey is brutal that way. A lot of reporters have had short careers, especially in Canada, because of the attention and the hype that gets put on it here. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. The players in Carolina and the players in Vegas definitely have it easier in terms of media circuit than what the guys do here. The guys here, that's all they want to talk about.
Oh, I just cut John off. But anyway, John Pico, Chris, who's saying,
I'm reading it.
We're going to be in Raleigh this weekend for my husband to play the men's league tournament, and then checking my son in the hockey camp for next week. We might miss the parade due to the tournament schedule and trying to park with that mob.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking if the Lord allows me, I'm gonna be there. I'm thinking about parking somewhere completely out of that whole mess of Hillsborough and the Capitol and City Pizza, and just getting an Uber. and just getting dropped off down there. Because from what I've seen from the city of Raleigh, everything on the Hurricanes group, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. They're not ready for this.
Yeah, ton of people there. I mean, it's going to be.
But going back to what Warren was saying about how you became basically to get to know the game of hockey, we have two completely different stories. So in 2006, well, let's back it up. Was it 04? 05 was the 07 was the lockout year, right? Or 05?
I don't know. Hold on, we'll look it up.
Might have been 05.
Go ahead. And
Anyway, the year before the lockout was the first time I ever turned on hockey at all. In 06, I saw the Canes win the Cup. I was a Hurricanes fan. I'd been to a couple games, but I really didn't understand the game. I knew I liked it. I knew it was fast-paced. I knew that it was hitting. It sounded like gunshots when they took a shot. So it was awesome. It was everything I wanted.
2004, 2005.
Yep. So I thought it was because we were the first team to win the Cup after the lockout. Yep. And Tampa Bay was the last one to win it before the lockout. But I watched that series, Tampa Bay. I can't even remember who they were playing.
Tampa Bay with the last of the great French forwards.
Yes.
The last of the great French forwards. It's very sad. Saint Louis Le Cavalier. And since then, there has never been they used to be all French at one point, right?
Yeah.
And now they were the last of the greats. It's sad to say, but
that I can remember watching that series, and that was my first taste of hockey. And I'm like, holy crap! Well, then I find out there's a team in Carolina. And I'm like, all right, this is cool. So my cousin takes me to a couple of games that season. I was like, all right, I'm really into this thing. I don't understand a lot about it, but I'm really into it. So fast forward a couple years, I go to college. Good friend of mine who I went to high school with, Lance Jenkins, had basically come up with an intramural league there. Eastern North Carolina doesn't know what hockey is outside of Greensboro and Raleigh at this point. I mean, we just have no clue what the hell is going on. So I get there, and I kind of gravitated towards Lance because I knew Lance. We went to school together. You know, he was kind of, all right, maybe he'll introduce me to some people. So I forgot what we were doing, but Lance comes up to me. He says, hey, man, you know, we got this intramural hockey league going on if you want to play. I was like, duh. I love sports. I don't know how to play. And I told him, I was like, I've never been on skates before, man. Like, this isn't going to work out. So luckily, after a couple skating lessons and that, I got on rollerblades. I played there. We went. It was amazing because we turned this student center every night into a hockey rink using wooden couches and chairs to round off our rink.
I love it.
We were on hardwood flooring with rollerblades that had holes in it about that big. So when you hit one of them holes, it was over. The sniper was real. So, you know, we're using makeshift pads. We're sharing goalie equipment. I had to get my skates weren't working, and I'm like, why aren't they working? And then all of a sudden, I feel like there's bearings in these things, and they have to be changed. And I'm going, I don't know what's going on. So I eventually got the hang of this thing and did pretty decent at goalie. And from there, I absolutely fell in love with the game. And I got to go to Richmond, Virginia, and play some ice hockey. Like, it was just, it was like how I was a kid again.
I think I was 5 or 6, and my parents put me in what's called initiation level hockey. So basically we're all just little farts out there trying to skate, and we're falling down and whatnot.
So it's
But-
like T-ball. It's
Yeah.
like T-ball.
Yeah, but what we get told right away, what we would get told as kids right away, is you want to learn to skate, and if you can skate, you're going to be good at hockey. You're going to have a chance to be good at hockey. If you can't skate, you're going to get left in the dust. At every level is going to say, can they skate? Can they keep up? And if you can't keep up, you're not going to get to play at the higher levels.
Can they skate? Can they keep up? No. Okay, they're a goalie.
That's right. Exactly. They would tell me as a goalie, they would tell us we had to be better skaters, whether that was bullshit or not. They would
That
tell
had
us
to be because I was not.
they would tell us we had to be better because we had all the equipment. So we had to be able to move and get quickly from one part, but whatever. So anyway, I chose goalie because I didn't like skating either. At least I got in a bit late. So this is what I was gonna say. How you said, like, for me as a kid in Canada, I should have gotten into hockey when I was like 3 or 4. But because I got in when I was like 5 or 6, I was behind the pack, and I was trying to catch up before we got into, novice, which is where the real training for hockey begins, I guess, here. And it legitimately, everything here through my childhood would revolve around hockey, and other sports support it and file in around its timeline. So when, you have soccer season and you have football season, we do have a CFL here where you have like diehard fans of a 10-team league or whatever it is. And, my band's going to get to play at a CFL game this year in Ottawa. So I'm super stoked about it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love it. Like, there's going to be a big crowd, battle of the bands. I don't know very much about football. Every time I watch it, I love it, but I realize I don't have that lifelong connection to it. Same thing with baseball. I have memories of the Blue Jays winning the 93 World Series and my family freaking out and us cheering. And so that was great when they had a great run there last year. That brought back some good memories. But really, hockey is like what people live for. I mean, when the Raptors won a championship, it was big for Toronto. But outside of Toronto, I don't know if the whole country felt that impact of winning a championship, in the same way as how badly people want a Stanley Cup here and how badly people want the best player to be on their team here.
But can you imagine that party when y'all do finally?
It will be insane. It will be. If Toronto, I don't want them to, knock on wood. I like I said, I hate their guts now. But if they won a cup, that city would lose their minds. But people in Toronto, listen, folks from Toronto, and I record there, so I know they're listening. People in Toronto are a little bit, they think they're the best. Like, they do. They're from Canada. They're from the biggest city. They think that they are working on the fastest level. When they drive, they're always honking. Do people in Raleigh, do they always honk when they're on your butt? Like, is it a lot of like, get going, get going? It's people in Toronto, they don't say thank you. Like,
not really, but at a stoplight, that irks my nerves. If you're at a stoplight and it turns green and they don't think you've hit that gas fast enough, they're gonna lay on the horn.
Yeah. It's very much so. For me, from the country, when I went to Toronto first for like theater school, it was like mind blowing, because in the country it was very much more like would it be in Raleigh or in Carolina, where at least what I would perceive where Stevie lives. Stevie lives in the sticks. There's like nobody around.
Yeah, Stevie, you live in the sticks.
He knows. I've already told. He talks about small towns. But I floored him when I told him how many people were in Alaska.
Yeah, and so I came from a town with 1,400. So we had 1,000 more people than you. I get it.
1,000.
Well,
dude, we didn't get but 60 people in this town.
The school there has more people than the town does.
Exactly.
Hold on, you have 60 people, and I graduated with 18
in his class. Yeah. So yeah,
there. I mean, you guys understand what I mean then by like everybody. And,
absolutely.
Right. And people just have a way of talking in that place, a way of communicating, which is a little bit like unique to other places. And then and they have an old school way of thinking in a lot of things, and for better or worse. And when I went to Toronto, it was just very much the opposite. Everyone's boogieing. No one cares who you are. Everyone's got their own thing on the go. And it's just a much colder experience, So here in Canada, it's weird. There's not much of that big city feel. It's a lot more of a small town feel. And then in the last 20 years, there's been a lot of new people coming to the country, and some of the atmosphere is changing a little bit. It's becoming a bit more crowded in certain places. And I think I said the last time, like, homelessness is so bad right now. That's really
bad everywhere.
It's really, really bad here. It's really sad. The amount of people that need help right now it's not great. I gotta ask you guys. I know we're coming to an end, but I gotta ask you guys because you're Americans. What did you think about Freedom 250?
The UFC?
UFC fight.
So that was like the big concert. Now, only reason I'm asking is Brady and Matthew Tkachuk went there instead of the finals, and they were posting live from, posting out about the planes and allegedly a whole bunch of artists canceled. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it is true.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're making a big deal. The artists here are making a pretty big deal about the fact that the Kennedy Center changed its name. They took his name off of there. So I remember I talked about the CBC. So critics here in Canada will say that the CBC will lead Canadians to hate Trump. So people on the right side, or people that support Trump here in Canada or like his points of view, they'll say that, like, that government agency run TV network, they want everyone to hate Trump. So that's all they tell you to do. So there is, like, both sides here. There is an argument or a discussion. But most people here are just are crazy of him, are afraid of him, like think he's batshit crazy. Like that's my general feeling is most Canadians feel like he's batshit crazy, and he'll say anything because he's in a world where anything is possible.
He's not a politician.
When you are the president, but he's realized that when you are the president of the United States, anything is possible. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's possible. Because you are the president, you can say, Greenland.
Oh, yeah.
You are going to now be my country, Greenland. And I find it hilarious because he's right. Like, look, whoever owns Greenland, I can't remember, but the country has like 6 million people, right? Like Norway, or I think it is, or the Danes own it. And they only have 6 million people there. And then the country itself only has Greenland itself only has 90,000 residents, I think. 100,000 residents, something like that. So, I mean, it's very weird to even go there. Like, I don't even know what resources he thinks he's going to get there, but maybe there's something, I don't know. In Canada, I don't know why he wants us. We're a bag of problems. You don't want to take on our bag of problems. We've been dealing with shit for 200 years ourselves with our own bloody issues, which, like, look, we've got Alberta. We've got people in Alberta that are threatening to separate. Those people, to me, as an Ontarian, it's like, what? Alberta, they have a great. For years, people in Alberta got checks just because of the oil there. Like, the oil market was so good that if you lived in Alberta, you just got money just from residuals. So I guess they know they're rich there. They know they have something in Alberta and they want to utilize it to its full potential. Then you've got Quebec, who, like I said, I can go in and out of Quebec, 40 minutes from my house and, no problem. And there's people in Quebec that want to separate. Again, they have their own culture. They have their own language. They have their own history. So there's people here that want to protect that. So I don't know if Trump wants to deal with this stuff. I don't know why he would even want to. Because
I'll tell you what I'm tired of, though. And I don't usually go political on here, but forgive me for a second. just like the UFC fight the other night. I don't know if you guys saw it. Jack Osborne went.
Okay.
Because he's a UFC fan.
Okay. Yeah.
And he has got he made a post today just talking trash to these people that have just commented on his he put pictures up there where he was at the UFC fight just saying, yeah, I'm not a fan anymore. Grow up, people. I mean, he's a UFC fan. He went to a UFC fight. It just happened. It was at the White House. These people are killing me with that crap.
It was an event. It was a once in a lifetime event. It's not gonna happen again. That's what Dana White said. Not again.
That will never happen again, is what Dana White said.
Right. So it obviously was super expensive and I'm sure security was off.
They come out and said they thwarted a terrorist attack. People were going to send drones in. It was three guys they arrested. So,
yep, no doubt. That's the craziness now. I mean, the security must have been just wild. And yeah, I hate to get political, but I'm one of those people who's a fence sitter. I'm really just in for the show. Most of the time, I can see the points of view on both sides.
Yeah.
And so I really dislike it that we get played against each other. I don't like it. I like to think that I can play every situation a little bit differently. I don't have to color myself, to make.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was watching hockey for the last month and a half, Stevie. That's all I've done.
Yeah.
So
a good distraction.
If it happened outside of Rich Square Market or a hockey, I probably didn't see it.
Christy's chiming in. I was too busy watching the Kings win the Stanley Cup. Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about, Christy.
You guys are lucky.
All right, so Warren, I know we're winding down, but here's my final question to you before hopefully Stevie will have us back on again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Beginning the next year. Well, two thoughts. First off, do you think the Leafs should take Gavin McKenna first overall? Well, no, they traded that pick, didn't they?
No, I don't think so.
Or they still have it?
I'm pretty sure they're going to use it. I
thought I heard something about they might have traded it today, but maybe that was just a rumor. Second off, who? Way too early prediction next year Stanley Cup. Who's in it?
Okay, so that's hard. It's like I said, I would of course would like to see my team go there, but I think if we're looking at like Vegas odds, you're looking at Carolina again, especially depending on what their offseason moves are, because they have the cap space. Carolina can position themselves here to really be a favorite right beside Florida. And then it will be about who stays healthiest, who stays truest to their system, who doesn't falter. But there's really good teams in the East. The parity, like we saw this year, is not going away. Buffalo is getting better. They're getting better and really good. And Montreal is getting better. Ottawa's getting better. Now Detroit is going to get a shakedown. Does that throw them to the bottom? I hope so. It would give some teams a little bit of breathing room. But
I think it does. If Larkin goes, I think they're no longer even in the conversation.
It's a huge step back. They were already short another center. Like, he's a good 2A. He's a really good 2A center. Or a 1B. And they met and they had him playing every situation. That's what people have to realize about Larkin. Not only did they not address his team issues, they didn't address the issue that they were overworking him year after year after year. He took every face off. It's eventually you're like, can I please just have one other centerman to help me with this? And the Leafs have to take McKenna, in my opinion. I think they will regret it if they don't. Now, they have Matt Sundin.
Now, do you say the Leafs have to take McKenna because you think it's the right move? Or do you think the Leafs have to take McKenna because if they don't, the fan base is going to completely riot?
I think the discussion of taking someone else only happened once the Leafs got the pick. No one was giving any other name much credence, I felt. And then all of a sudden, the Leafs got the pick, and people jumped immediately to the Swedish-born player.
Yeah.
Because Matt Sundin is Swedish, and he's an advisor on the current Leafs staff. So people feel like, oh, former Leafs great captain on the staff is Swedish. He's going to want to bring this Swedish kid in. I don't think there's any truth to that.
The only difference in those two players that I see is you're going to get the same caliber of player, in my opinion. But there's a completely contrasting style. Gavin McKenna, yes, I think is the pick that Toronto needs to take. The reason for that is you already have a true goal scorer in Austin Matthews. Okay, your number 2 pick is a true goal scorer. Gavin McKenna is a playmaker. You need that for Austin to succeed.
Yep, big time.
But people are going crazy talking about McKenna shouldn't be the number 1, blah, blah, blah.
No one was saying, I don't think anyone was saying it until the Leafs got the pick. Then I felt like a lot of names started getting thrown in there, but especially the Swedish guy and the Swedish defenseman as well. And I think, again, there's a lot of the Toronto media. They just try and start stories out of nothing. That's what I was saying about, like, players here deal with crap. Like, Ottawa had the crap rumors that were started. We don't know where they came from. They weren't true. People started rumors saying that people were cheating on their wives and that Ullmark, the goalie, had sold them out. And, people believe this. But that's the Toronto media, is they're always looking for the next hockey story that's going to shock you and make you go, oh, no, hockey. But, yeah. Thank you, Stevie, for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely, dude. I enjoyed it. Like I said, going into the show, I know nowhere near what you guys know about hockey, but I'm working on it. And and we will definitely have you two back on. We'll do a preview before the season starts next season. Get your thoughts like this, and we want to thank all the people that commented tonight. Troy Smith, Justin Butts, Alice Warren, the mom crowd, Alice Warren, Joanne Simcox, Meredith, and Christy Helms Burns. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we got some likes up here. Justin Butts, Jack Jones, Rob Myers, and Krista Walston Weaver. I mean, the hometown crowd for John Michael here.
Showing up.
Yeah, so everybody's showing up for John Michael. But Warren, before we let you go, let's give us a look at him changing his background here.
Hey, I'll give it to you. Even when y'all lose, y'all are still prideful.
Yeah.
Well, what else do we got, man?
Maple syrup and pride. That's what you got.
It's cold up here. There is a big thing going on right now. People are selling fake maple syrup. They're labeling it incorrectly. Syrup. Yeah, man. They're labeling it as maple syrup, but it's not real. That's a big problem right now in the newspaper I was reading here in Canada. So it's never boring.
Maybe one day, Steve, we can get some real maple syrup tried at the store.
It's good.
We're going to have Warren on next week to discuss the fake maple syrup controversy. Look at it. Look at him changing all this stuff in the background. He's just playing around now. So before we get out of here, tell us where we can find everything Taming Sari. So get your plugs in on that.
TamingSariBand.com. TamingSariband.com. Taming Sari Band. And that should give you our website, and you can find everything there, links to everything, our social media, the music. If you Google Warren Meredith, you'll find me. You'll find them. Spotify, we're there. iTunes or Apple Music, whatever it's called now. We're everywhere. It doesn't matter. You go Google us and whatever, you'll find us. Yeah. And thank you. I appreciate it. If you listen to the music, leave us a like or whatever, a comment, or you just like the music, that's awesome.
And if you like Warren's acting ability, please be sure to nominate him for an Academy Award there.
Yeah, go watch Tea and Honey. That music video will really give you Warren's acting. Yeah,
It was fun.
And be sure to check out the new single "Ghost of a Good Time" as well, guys. And
Please do.
hey, we need the riff, the opening segment for. We need a Taming Sari opening segment music so I can use for my AI thing, which your
yes.
guys probably won't want to do it since they find out it's AI pictures on it. So
It's all right. It's you, Stevie. It's your face, so it's okay. It's okay. Maybe we could do the Ghost of a Good Time intro. We'll see. I'll try and figure out, or maybe we'll just make you a new one. I'll talk to the guitar player.
Yeah, talk to.
I don't know.
to
Ghost
him,
of a
let me
Good
know.
Time might work.
It might, right? It has a
Might
kind of a
work.
cool intro. So it might work. But if not, I can get my guitar player to make something. Thomas is a good dude.
So then y'all will become the official house band of On the Fly and the Final Score. And as always, my favorite Canadian rock band. But, yeah. John, appreciate you showing up, bud. And like I said, we will get you two back on to talk some more hockey right before the season starts. We'll do the preview. Look at him just back there.
And then we'll have to have the post game, after we hoist another cup next year.
Oh my gosh.
With Brandley Bussey, the winningest goalie,
If you guys get another cup, 2 in a row, if you can do what Florida did, that's really cool. That'd be really special.
It hinges on, does Jordo stay? And if he does not stay, what do we do to replace him?
Yeah, the free agent market isn't great this year. It's got to be a trade. That's the thing. It's going to be a crazy trade market. So that's another thing we're going to talk about next time we're on.
But hopefully next season sitting in the same position, or maybe it'll be flip-flop. Maybe Ottawa get them one next year and put all the Canadian miseries to bed.
Crazy if that happens,
dude. That would piss off so many Canadian hockey fans. It'd be great. Like, we are one of the hated hockey teams in Canada for sure. We have the least fans.
Well, I don't know that there was a better celebration there was right here in Woodland after we won. There might have been a couple of beers shaken up and sprayed everywhere and tossed and
nice
jumping in the pool at 12 o'clock at night. And the greatest thing was I got to watch it with my son, who is 10 years old and probably going to be a bigger Canes fan than Dad ever was. He's shaping out to be that way, so that was a special moment.
Hockey is for the kids. That's why
right.
That's truly why it's successful, why it should keep being successful. Hockey's for the kids. You go to a game, you see that. You see like how much they love it, how much they look up to the players. I bet you they do it in Carolina. They do it here in Ottawa, where during warm-ups, you can just go down to the glass. The kids
you go down. I've told Stevie this, and the players shoot the pucks at the kids' heads. Fake check each other, fake fight in front of the kids.
It's all about the kids. It's the same. They get it. It's about the kids in the NHL, and I love that. It's not about us stinky old men.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for our Stanley Cup recap. Thanks to Warren and thanks to John again, guys. And you guys be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel, subscribe, check me out on Facebook, send me a friend request. I'm usually really, really prompt to get back to you about things. And we will see you guys next time on the Final Score. And hopefully we'll have that Warren music up here next time, that Taming Sari music up here next time. So see you guys. You guys have a great night. Oh, we got another one. Christy Helms with the love up here. Appreciate it. And you guys have a great night. We'll see you next time. Final Score.